Hey guys, this month's vlog is going to be about what to expect when you actually get to college. Now there's several things as far as the recruiting process goes, and I went over some of those. Now let's actually dig in deeper to what to expect when you actually get there, when you first arrive, and the coaches are expecting you to pick up right where they left off last year. So one of the first things to realize is you're virtually going to get no sleep. That's just the way that college goes. Now this is coming personally from a junior college standpoint, but I've also heard many cases as far as a D1 goes as well. You have early morning practice, early morning workouts, you practice late, you're up studying, you have tests, you have finals, and then there's also the college life. So, second is student athletes are held to a higher standard than regular athletes or regular students. Student athletes, you have your tutoring, you have your study hall time. Your coaches most coaches have mandatory GPAs that you have to reach, and if you don't reach that GPA, then you're going to need additional tutoring. So there is a higher standard for student athletes. The third thing is distractions. Now this may be your first time away from home, and so it's going to be the distraction of being homesick. There's also going to be the distractions that you want to go hang out with your buddies and do other things that you don't necessarily have time for. Also, there's always an encouragement to be away from training and working out. You're already going to be working out a lot, and so there's going to be the additional stress that you want to go play some video games, relax, and maybe get some rest time. But the problem is that may not be what you need. Fourth is going to be poor nutrition. Whenever you reach college, you realize that Taco Bell is life, and you realize that the cafeteria food may not be quite as good as what you thought it was. So you go out to eat as much as often as you can, and even in the cafeteria, even though they may give you some whole food options, the majority of the time athletes are just going to get whatever they can and whatever tastes good. And sometimes vegetables, salad, lean meats are just kind of on the back burner. Next up is bus rides. A lot of people have experienced bus rides in high school, but it is even more so when you get to the college life. You basically bus everywhere unless you're at a big D1 college where you might fly a few times, but the majority of the time you are busing. And this means long bus rides because colleges are further apart than high schools. I remember a time we had to bus ride about 8 to 10 hours in one day, and we didn't take any stops. And it was a pretty fun ride, I guess. The next thing you have to realize is some of the training is out of your control. What you are used to doing is not necessarily what you're going to be doing when you get there. There's a lot of coaches that think it's my way or the highway, and you've already agreed that you're going there and you have to abide by those rules. Now that doesn't mean that you don't get your training in on the side or you do extra stuff, but you have to realize that it's out of your control whenever you get to practice. If they're telling you to run long distance, you don't want to alienate the coach and alienate your chance of starting, so you have to run the poles. But in the off time, you can actually do your side of training and your type. The other thing you can do is a lot of coaches that I've found are pretty open to things. And so if you have any suggestions, that sort of thing, do it off the field. But if you actually present to them some different information that they might want to listen to, that might actually help you out during the practices. Again, another thing to expect is no days off. You're going to be there weekdays, weekends, and you're going to be there from sun up to sundown is basically my experience with it. In junior colleges, there's even more so because there's not really a requirement on the hours of practice. So you're going to be there 6 to 8 hours at practice. You're going to get home, or you're going to get in your dorm, do your homework, and shut it down for the night. But there's not going to be any days off. You have to prepare yourself for that. Another thing to expect is roommates. Now, a lot of times people are like, oh yeah, I get along well with people, and that may be true until you live with them. You have to realize that there's certain things that is out of your control with roommates, but there's certain things that you do have control over. Some of the things that you do have control over is how clean and neat you are. You can also be very open with your roommate and let them know that if they have some sort of problem, to come and let you know first before escalating any of the issues. These are just some of the things to expect whenever you get to college. Everybody has their own experience. A lot of these came from my personal experience, but I do believe that they provide a good, solid information for you to look forward to and prepare for. There's certain things that you have to overcome when you come to college, and a lot of these things that I mentioned are just obstacles that you just need to overcome. That's going to be it for this month's blog. I really hope that this helped you out, and I really hope that it helped prepare you for the college life. Remember to be unique and hashtag be elite.